Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secrets to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine game. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town, and we're live tonight. The music starts playing, it's time for cabareting, and we're live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Now, all over the country, we're seeing this backlash against drag performers repeating the threats of us grooming and sexually abusing children. I haven't seen any drag queen convicted or even charged with such crimes. What I have seen in the past few weeks is this. Thomas Brackett, pastor of Holy Trinity Pentecostal Church in Andrews, South Carolina, was taken into custody on 11 warrants that included criminal sexual conduct with 2 different victims. And then there's Kenneth Daniel, a pastor at First Baptist Church of Chalkville, Alabama, who was booked this week and charged with a child sex offense. And here is Christopher Darren Smith, who in 2019 was pastor of Word of Truth Outreach Ministries and was arrested for child molestation. If I had children, who would I trust my children with? These monsters who preach of their God's love, or someone like Miss Majesty Divine, who reads to shelter dogs? Is it time for Stonewall 2.0? Members of the Proud Boys, Rose City Nationalists, and the Crossfire Christian Church attacked a drag queen story hour by hurling rocks and smoke bombs outside a Eugene, Oregon bar. The show went on, but how terrifying for the parents and children inside. Groomers, pedophiles, child molesters. Yes, I'm against them too. And I'm sure there's been a drag queen or 2 found guilty of such things, but not on the level of Alexander O'Veal, a youth pastor at the People's Church of Houston, Church of God in Christ, has been accused and arrested for sexually assaulting a young girl. Or at Gulf Breeze Methodist Church in Florida, youth pastor Ryan Walsh was found guilty of lewd and lascivious behavior of a 13-year-old distributing obscene material to a minor and obscene communication to seduce or solicit a child. I'll ask again, who would you trust your children with? These monsters or a drag queen? It's time. Drag queens strike back. Is this Stonewall 2.0? In Memphis, Tennessee, a drag show had to be canceled as armed Proud Boys gathered in the parking lot. Groomers, they say. A bakery in Lake in the Hills, Illinois was vandalized over their drag brunch. Pedophiles, they say. Drag queen story hours and their presenters are being harassed all over. Molesters, they say. Where are the protesters about Matt Walsh, a right-wing political commentator who recently stated in a broadcast that parents attending drag shows should be carted away in handcuffs and charged as pedophiles? And Daniel Smathers of Joplin, Missouri, a former Baptist youth pastor, was charged with traveling for the purpose of an unlawful sex act with a minor and computer child pornography. Why is the outrage at innocent drag performers and not these monsters? I'll ask again, who would you trust your children with? These monsters or a drag queen? It's time. Drag queens, strike back. If you saw last week's show, you know I ended it with a rant about the hypocrisy about people being anti-drag people and their allowance of religious leaders to molest their children. Since then, it's blown up on TikTok, and we've had a lot of positive responses. And like we say, drag queens, strike back. And now, what does a daycare center, Jesus, and historical events have in common? They're all a part of this week's news briefs. Some people, and we all know them, sometimes take Halloween a bit too far, such as some teachers at a Mississippi daycare center. 4 former employees of the Little Blessings Child Care and Learning Center are facing child abuse charges after a viral video surfaced showing an adult wearing a Halloween mask and scaring the children in their care. In the video, the employees are seen wearing a mask similar to that of the Scream villain, yelling in the kids' faces and chasing them around the room. The children can be heard screaming and crying in distress. None of the women charged with the felonies are employed at the daycare any longer. While many Christians view Halloween as the Devil's Day, Jessica Wolstenholme wrote in a story for the Christian Post that Christians should use the occasion to preach the gospel. Her advice was to have the best candy so that your house will be the house people come to and linger near. Have a warm beverage for adults so you can engage your neighbors in conversation. She went on to say, God put you here, and his way of redeeming this holiday may be to provide an opportunity to come face to face with neighbors. Apparently, the only ghost they're really interested in is the Holy One. October 31 has been a very eventful day in history. In 1756, Casanova, yes, that Casanova, escaped from a Venice prison by climbing onto the roof. Wonder what he was in prison for. 90 years later, in 1846, the Donner Party began constructing their winter camp, and I assume started planning their Thanksgiving dinner. A standard uniform was approved for the United States postal carriers in 1868. Just 100 years ago, in 1922, Benito Mussolini became the premier of Italy, and 4 years later, on the same date, there was a failed assassination attempt on El Duce by a 15-year-old boy who was lynched on the spot. In 1941, Mount Rushmore was completed. In 1959, Lee Harvey Oswald announced in Moscow that he would never return to the USA. Guess what? He lied. And for me, one of the most important historical events to happen on Halloween, in 1962, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane was released. Oh, we're all thankful for that. And that's this week's news briefs. All right, it's time to bring in Russell. Come on in, Russell.
Hey, Amber, how are you? Happy Halloween.
Yes, we're in the spirit, aren't we? Or
Yes,
maybe
we are.
We had some spirits too. I wouldn't put.
It is,
Yes,
this mug just isn't just for water.
No, it's not. Okay, Russell. Yeah, we've had a busy week with the explosion on TikTok of my little rant last week. And we put out a couple more TikToks since then. And the first one got over 200,000 hits.
It's up to 270,000 now. And we've gained 8,000 followers on TikTok. And the second one isn't doing quite as well, but we released a third one, and that one's starting to take off now too. So it was very quickly was up well over 1,000 views. So I'm hoping it keeps going. So it's
drag queens strike back. That's what we're saying.
Yes, hashtag that, folks. So if anyone hasn't seen those videos, please go to our TikTok, like them, share them, spread them around, help them keep growing. And that's really helping us out, getting us a lot of new followers. So thank you to everyone.
Yes, Russell. And let's tell people the best way to watch tonight's show.
Yes, the best way to watch tonight's show, as always, is on YouTube, and that's because YouTube is in full HD, so I highly recommend you watch there. But also, your friends are probably over on YouTube in the chat, so while the show's going on, you can chat with them, and if we're in the chat room, we'll chat back with you. In addition to that, we recommend you check out our TikTok, our Instagram, our Amber's Facebook page, and even our website, Amber Live TV. And if you can't watch Amber, you can always listen to Amber, because I take the interviews, and on the Tuesday afterwards, they go live as podcasts. So you can listen to those great interviews on your way to work, or when you're sitting at home drinking your morning coffee, or even as you're going to sleep at night. So check out the Amber Live interviews. They're out there. So there's lots of Amber spread out all over the internet these days.
Yes. And if you like what we do on Sunday, you might like what we do on Wednesdays too. It's called Amber Chat. And we're going to be changing up Amber Chat, because we have been doing it, I think, over 90 Wednesdays the past 2 years. And so we're going to cut that down to just once or twice a month now, because we're getting busy with TikTok and a lot of other things. So we want to keep in touch, but we've got some good things planned too.
And we love our Amber's crew, but it's a lot of work, guys. And we need to keep things going in other directions. So bear with us. We'll be doing it at least once a month, and we'll send out an announcement when we're doing it. And we want you all to come in and be a part of this. So, because you're important to us. So thank you.
We love you. We've got viewers from all over the world watching us on Amber Chat, but we've got things that we got to do. So very good. All right, Russell, and there's something else people can do for us too.
Yes, the very important thing, you can help us out by becoming a bustier, and we want to thank our super bustiers and our regular bustiers. There's a lot of expenses to Amber Live, and your assistance is greatly appreciated, and you can become a bustier using that Venmo at RJD Pro, or if you go to our website, if you want to use a credit card, go to amberlive.tv and look for the Support Amber Live button. Any amount is welcome. Everything helps us out. Every little penny is important. But if you give $25 or more, I'll send you a great sticker of our logo. For $100 or more, a sticker and a magnet will come your way. And for $200 or more, I will send you a sticker, a magnet, and one of the amazing Amber Live mugs. And again, it's that Venmo at RJD Pro. And guys, it is really important. We do need your help to keep this all going and pay the bills. And there's one of the great Amber Live mugs. This is one of the extra large size ones. They're wonderful. And if you don't get one via being a bustier, you can also go to the Amber Live store on our website and just order a mug yourself. So thank you all to our bustiers.
All right, very good. All right, Russell, tell us about tonight's guests.
Oh my goodness, do we have guests tonight? Because it's Halloween, which is one of my favorite holidays, as you know. This year, I'm doing a little Sully action from Monsters, Inc. I went a little nicer this year than some of my past scary costumes. But we have Thea Lewis tonight, this is her third or fourth time on the show. She's been with us every Halloween, and Thea is the Queen of Halloween in Vermont, and she has some ghost stories to tell. About some ladies of the night this time. So, and no, it's not you, Amber. No. And then Amber is getting 2 psychic readings tonight. We have Corbie Mitlied, who is a professional psychic, and she lives, I believe, up near Albany, and she comes online and does a tarot reading. And was it your aura she did also, or she has some things to tell, Amber. Let's just say that. It's a great interview. And one of our favorites, Duane Cerny, is here. And last year he did a palm reading of Amber. And this year he decided to read another part of Amber's body. So you'll have to find out what that is later on in the show. Plus, we've got Lucy Belle doing a bitchin' in the kitchen. We've got Rusty Peen here with the ghost of Babby Bean here to scare everyone. And Big J even did a sketch. And then, of course, at the end, Rocco and Boog and Shug. You won't want to miss a moment of it. There's a lot tonight.
Yes, it's our 3rd annual Halloween Spooktacular. So let's get on with the show with that first interview with the psychic. It's Halloween, so there's got to be some supernatural psychic things going on. And so we have tonight one of our guests, Corbie Mitleid. Corbie, come on in.
Hello there, Miss Amber.
Hello there. Welcome. Now, so how do you describe yourself, what you do?
All right. I am as practical a psychic as you're going to find. I am not Fluffy Bunny. Been reading since I was 18. I'm 67, means I know a little something. Certified tarot master, past life specialist, psychic medium, and channel.
All of that. Oh my God. I wonder if you're getting overloaded with things coming at you from me.
Nah.
Right now.
No, I have an open and a closed sign upstairs. It's okay.
Okay. Well, you said you started reading at 18. What does that mean?
That means that when I was in high school, 1973, senior, I was working part-time at Spencer Gifts, and they had the James Bond 007 tarot deck, and I bought it.
That was the dirty store back in the early 70s.
I know. But they did have the James Bond deck, because that was the year Live and Let Die came out. And we were all hippies then, so I bought it. My fringe jacket, elephant bells, and the jet. 5 years later, everybody else moved on to roller skates and disco balls. I thought the cards were fascinating, so I kept reading for friends. All of a sudden, in the early 90s, I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. which is when the universe handed me my draft notice and said, "Hello, you're working for us."
All right,
Saw
hold
the
on,
towers burn.
hold
What?
on. You said you started healing, hands-on healing.
Hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. That's right.
Okay,
Boom.
so tell me about your first episode of hands-on healing.
That was a dear friend of mine who was complaining about the fact that she had bronchitis and the drugs weren't touching it. And I said, let me give it a shot. So I just put my hands on her. And I immediately saw, you know, the way a spring will break up in the late winter, early spring, and the water is going and the ice is melting. And I just kept seeing that, holding the vision. Within 36 hours, she didn't need the antibiotics and they hadn't worked for weeks. Now, that's not me. I'm just the tube it comes through. That's boss upstairs.
What made you think that you could do that?
Because my friend was hurting. So I tried. That's all. I had no idea.
But something told you that you could do that.
Something told me I should try.
Okay.
I had no idea what was going to happen.
All right. Then you said talking to dead people.
Dead people.
Tell me about that.
Yes. They showed up in my living room.
Who?
Now,
who did?
Well, in the beginning, in the 90s, when I was in Atlanta, they were dead soldiers from World War I, which was a life of mine 2 lives ago, and that's reincarnation, darling. We could spend hours, but we're not going there. And I tend to be a doorway that if a soul is stuck in the gray spaces, I help them cross. And now, you want to talk to dead Aunt Mabel? Yes, I will certainly try, but I remind people we're not dial-a-dead. If she's on a field trip, she won't be by the phone.
That Mabel, you never could trust her.
I know. Ruby, yes. Mabel, no.
What did these soldiers tell you, or why did they go through you? What were they looking for?
Well, it's because 2 lives ago, I was right there with them in World War I. I know the life that I had then. So I understood them. And it's very interesting. The first thing you need to do is they'll all ask, who won? And you have to explain to them, it's 100 years ago, it doesn't matter. You get them to forgive the person who killed them. You get them to forgive themselves for having killed, and then you can get them to cross.
To cross onto the next life, to get out of this.
Right, to stop being caught in the gray spaces and move on to heaven, the astral, Ralph the Wonder Dog's house, however you see it. But they stop being stuck here.
You said you've had previous lives. Were you ever in that gray space?
I don't think so, because this is what I do. There are lives that I wasn't particularly proud of. We've all been saints and sinners, but you learn and you go on. This soul tends to drop the personality and go full soul relatively quickly. That's why I can help other people.
You were talking about reincarnation. Now, have you been only in human form, or does reincarnation go into animals as well?
I don't think I think they call that transmogrification or something. I've never been an animal. I can speak very fluent Maine Coon because I have a 27-pounder, but no, this is a soul that really loves the human condition. And when someone comes down and they are other, that doesn't scare me. I reach out and say, I see who you are. Can I help?
What was your role in World War I?
Pilot. Got shot down, I think, over Zonnebeck in 1917.
Wow.
1917.
How many lives have you traced back?
I think I've traced back about 5 or 6, but look, we've all had them. You think any of us is smart enough to get it done in one with these little pea brains? No. So yes, everybody has had past lives. But don't come to me and say I must have been Anne Boleyn because I can't wear turtlenecks. That's not how it works.
In an earlier conversation we had, you did mention that you had been a stand-up comedian, and that does come through.
Betcha.
What do you do with your skills, your talents, your what do you call it?
Stuff.
Abilities?
It's my toolbox. Look, this is my full-time job. I work 6 days a week, 14 hours a day, and I read about 1,000 people a year. Do that. That's like going to the gym every day. You get really good and really fast at what you're good at. Now, when Spirit hands you your draft notice, it goes rifling through your file cabinet to see what you do. So what's my background? Theater major at Brown University, an actress in New York, so I know characters. Words are my drug of choice. I'm a writer, so I can tell the stories. And I have been a history buff since I was a little kid in single digits. That's why I'm good with past lives. That's good with tarot because I can see the story and run it. But do not ask me to draw spirit art because I can't draw a stick figure with a sharp pencil and a lot of prayer. It's not in my wheelhouse.
We've had a lot of theater people. What was your theater background in New York?
Oh God, I was in Funny About Love. I do remember that. I did Ladies at the Alamo, stepping onto Off-Broadway with about 3 days notice. But back then I had a Dolly Parton figure and it was really hard to get any work in film and TV because they were going to be looking at the rack. So I did a lot of voiceover stuff, commercials, things like that.
You had a great bosom for radio.
I did, darling. I did.
So you say you do all these readings, you work 6 days a week?
6 days a week. Mm-hmm.
From your home, or you go on the road? How do you do that?
I was on the road for 18 years, about 45 weekends a year, and my nickname was the Travel Channel. But my back went out in 2019, so I moved my entire business online, and that was when the universe was really taking care of me, because what happened in March 2020, but the advent of the years of Murder Hornet Bingo and Hold My Beer. There were no shows to do. I've been working ever since. Do I do a couple of locals? Yeah, but I'd much rather read at home, have dinner with the husband, play with the cats. And look, I have clients all over the world. Do you really think somebody from Rio de Janeiro wants to come to upstate New York with the sheep and the cows? No.
Well, I don't know. You live in a pretty part of the country.
I do, but airfares these days, very expensive. Zoom is easier.
Yes, they are. Okay, so you're talking to someone from Rio. What do they want to know?
The same thing that everybody else does. The everyday tour bus, house, car, job, kids, finances. Okay, God, what'd you put me here for? Past lives, who was I in 1642 Belgium? I want to speak to my spirit guide, Binky, and how's dead Aunt Mabel? It's what everybody wants. Humanity is humanity.
Okay, let's do a tarot card reading.
You bet.
All
okay,
right.
Do you have anything in particular that you're looking at? Or as I say, if you sit down with me, okay, honey, what's biting your butt?
No, I'm wide open. My channels are open.
You got it. All right. What I'm going to do is what's called the Celtic spread. It's the 10-card thing that you see in all the bad B movies, but it's a good
That was my
general.
nickname in college, the Celtic spread.
Girlfriend. All right. Left, middle, or right pile? Which one would you like?
Left.
Done. Hold on. Now, remember, death, the devil, and the tower. If they come up, that's not what they mean. I'll explain if they do.
All right.
First thing I do is I look for the major arcana. That's the concentrated God energy in the deck. Average is 2. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God is so playing in your sandbox this year. Give him the shovel and play nice. Synchronicities, chance meetings, whatever. You go, yes, boss, and deal with it. For the rest of your suits, you've got 1, 2 cups. Cups are relationships, but anything that goes human heart to human heart. Family, friends, work, communities, not just lovers. You've got 2 swords. Challenges, speed bumps, crap, and the mental work to deal with it. You've got 1 pentacle for material goods, stuff. What you don't have any of are the cards that are known as wands. Wands is a creativity factor. You don't have any in the first 10. The cards are saying, honey, just deal with it and go on. So what are we doing for you? First thing is Judgment Day. Call to new life, a paradigm shift. It is time for change, and do not have a pity party about it, because if you're willing to make the changes, there is money involved. Past couple of years, could be legalities, could be just trying to find balance in your life. But what is ahead is the Temperance card. Now, this is the artist's card. I want you to look at the allegory. Notice that the angel is pouring water from cup to cup and it's not getting spilled. That's emotional mastery. 1 foot's in the water, 1 foot is on land. What does that mean? In order to maintain your emotional mastery, you keep 1 foot in where you are and 1 foot in where you want to go. You're waiting for the partnerships, whether this is love or whether this is business. It's coming, but in order for it to come, there is one situation where there is no more blood to bleed, my darling. You have to Get rid of it and walk away. You tend to worry at 3 a.m. You can't solve anything at 3 a.m. Stop, warm milk, cuddle your puppy. Now, within the next 18 months, it's either or. Big change. You get the world, or you still allow people to bedevil you, because this is not Mr. Horns in the Tail. It is not even Jack Nicholson and the Witches of Eastwick. It is being bedeviled by something, someone, or some situation, or holding yourself back from your highest and best. So you've got something coming, but you can't worry about it, and you cannot allow people who live in Neverland to be there. Who's that? It'll never happen. I wouldn't do it if I were you. Oh, no. I want to give you 2 magic phrases when they show up. Thank you for sharing. You may think that if you wish, and then you go do what the hell you want. Make sense?
All right. So can you condense that in a few sentences?
The whole thing? Yes,
please.
There are opportunities that are going to come up for you. There, you will have to leave some of the things behind that you've been doing that are comfortable for you, but don't have a pity party. Reach for them. They are lucrative. They're going to raise your profile. And if anybody says to you, you can't do it, smile and wave in the backview mirror. See ya.
Okay. Yeah. I can sense that Russell is smiling right now. I just sense that Russell.
But now you see why, if you have a reading with me, you get a recording. You'll never remember everything. And if you're taking notes, you're not listening, and I'm fast.
Okay.
Now, the other...
Can
I do your numerology, because that has to do with this?
Yeah, you please.
All right,
please.
I got your birthday, month, and day before we went on.
Explain numerology. What
Okay.
the basics?
Astrology is date, time, and place. Numerology is your birth date, but the vibe in your name. But to find your personal year, all I need is your birthday, which I got, and I add this year's master number. 2 + 0 + 2 + 2 is 6. Then I take that number and bring it down to a single number. Your birthday plus 6 down to a single number, the number is 9. This is important. Our lives go in 9-year cycles. And if you're in a 9-year, it is the celestial garage sale. You got to get rid of everything in your life that's busted that you'll never fix. You've outgrown and was never you in the first place. Bad dogs, bad haircuts, bad jobs, goodbye. Because New Year's Eve, God's going to take your Etch-a-Sketch and do this. Clear it. Next year is a 1 year. It's a fresh cycle. You want to plant seeds for what you want for the next decade. And it's easier if you've cleaned up from the last 9. So that's why next 2 months, get rid of all the crud. Get ready to rock and roll in 23.
Oh my goodness! I looking around in my basement here. I do have a lot of crud. But
garage sale time.
You're not talking about just physical crud, are you?
Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Anything that holds you back, out the door.
Have you do you do readings for anyone famous? You don't have to mention their names, but
I have, yes. We of course don't talk about them. I mean, it's not famous level like Cher. It's not famous level like it's Gwen Stefani, but they are well known in their fields. I've been in other people's books. But I will read anybody. It's not a matter of how famous are you, because I'm not one of those psychics who goes, my aura don't stink. I'm here in service. So you can be average yachts. You can be brilliant, famous person. I'll read either one and you'll get the same kind of answers. I don't cater.
Growing up, the psychic that I remember is Jean Dixon and Kristen.
Yes.
Are you in that field? Do you foresee global things happening?
Sometimes, but my skill is helping people get out of their own way. They tell me I'm really, really accurate, but I don't look at that because I'm just the tube the information comes through. And when we start looking at our accuracy, our ego gets in the way. And I can't have an ego doing this thing. I have to just do it. And I probably won't remember what I told you because I do a core dump and then I go on to the next person.
All right. So people can contact you, and you can give personal private readings, or through Zoom.
Yep.
Let's show that address one more time where they can contact Corbie Mitleid. And very good. Well, do that. Thank you so much. I'm going to be thinking about what's going on and getting rid of some of this crud around me.
Good.
Thank you so much, and happy Halloween.
And to you.
Ooh, I'm going to have to rewatch that and think about what she said and get rid of some of this crud. All right. Now he's back. Here is Rusty Peen telling us all about Pappy Peen.
Thinking and drinking with Rusty Peen.
This is the ghost of Pappy Peen. My soul is trapped in a bottle of spirits, so now I'm a spirit too, dude. Heed my warning, Lucy Belle, Lucy Belle. Learn to fix a drink that ain't got no rum shot in it. Amber, Amber. There's gonna be a platinum vodka shortage in Beaver Pond. Stockpile now, or suffer the consequences of a sober winter. Rusty, Rusty, stay the fuck out of my liquor cabinet, dude. This is the ghost of Pappy Peen. Heed my warning, bud. Heed my warning.
It wouldn't be Halloween without talking to our favorite storyteller, Thea Lewis. Thea, come on in.
Oh, hello. It's so good to be here tonight.
Oh, it is. It is. All right. Now, you've written some new books since we've last talked. Tell us about that.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have a book about Burlington's Lakeview Cemetery that is filled with notables. It's not a haunted book in particular, although people who've been on my tours will realize that some of the characters do figure into my haunted tales. There are people like John J. Flynn, who built the Flynn Theater, and also Brevet Major General William Wells, who has been described by people on my Queen City Ghostwalk Facebook page as a real Civil War hottie.
Oh, I've been to that cemetery just to walk around. It's beautiful. It's right there on the shore of Lake Champlain. It's a beautiful cemetery. Tell us about some more books.
Well, not too long ago, my book that is called Wicked Vermont came out, and that was a lot of fun to write. I did a deep dive into the special collections at UVM and into the old Burlington Free Press articles, and even learned through my research that my dear departed grandmother was guilty of breaking the law back in the 1940s, selling liquor on Battery Street out her back door until she got busted by some local agents.
Oh, Mammy.
It's in the book.
All right. And what tours are you doing this time of year? I know you're very busy.
Oh, we are all tours all the time. We're doing our Darkness Falls tour. It's our 20th anniversary. Can you even believe it? I think you were on some of our earliest tours. So the Darkness Falls tour, we just finished up our Ghosts and Legends of Lake Champlain tours, which benefited local nonprofits with a 50-50 every Wednesday night. We've got tours for kids and their adventurous adults at Lakeview Cemetery called Fright by Flashlight, where they can learn a little bit of dowsing and some work with compasses to find ghosts in the cemetery. And of course, our new last year true crime walking tour. We talk about the likes of Ted Bundy and H.H. Holmes.
Oh my goodness. And I know you have a special story to tell us from that tour. So scare us.
All right. Well, actually, this is a story that crosses over between the true crime tours and the Darkness Falls tours. I've learned through my research and through talking with some folks in town who are in the know that we are seeing ghosts in the downtown area and down on the waterfront that appear to be very high style, ladies of the evening from back in the day. And I'm talking the third part of the 1800s and the early 1900s. Ladies with great big bell-shaped skirts and fancy hats and parasols. And, the lore goes that years ago, back in the early 1900s, there were two fancy hotels people loved to go to on the corner of St. Paul and Main. Now, one of those was, of course, a building that's still there, the Hotel Vermont. And the other was a hotel called the Van Ness. Now, these places had beautiful ballrooms and dining rooms, and the Van Ness had a wonderful rooftop garden. Well, I was able to talk to a young man many years ago, about halfway through the 20-year duration of our Queen City Ghostwalk tours, who sat down with me at a little local bar and told me his story from the old Hotel Vermont. Now, what you need to know is, in the old Hotel Vermont, there is a shared corridor downstairs. This one night, this young man was headed out to move a keg from one place to another, and at the end of the corridor, he saw a young woman standing with a parasol over her shoulder, staring at a picture on the wall. Well, at first, he wondered about her costume. He thought maybe she'd been in a show at the Flynn and had just left that place without changing. But one thing was certain. He was getting off work at the bar in just a little while, and he knew he had to talk to her to invite her out for a beer or a drink, because he was free. He said that he crept down the corridor and put his hand out gently. He told me he didn't want to startle her, or in his words, Mikey, the man, was from Boston. He said, I didn't want to look like too much of a stalker. So he went up to her and he put out his hand and he said, excuse me, miss, my name is Mikey. And I was just wondering. And the woman turned to him and gave him the most beautiful smile, he told me. And that's when she began to fade. She was there, and then not so much, and not so much, until she was gone, like a photograph developing in reverse. Well, I could not believe this. I said, Mikey, this is one of the best full-body apparition stories I've heard from downtown Burlington. Now, tell me, how did you feel? Were you scared? And he said, nah, wasn't really scared, just felt a little stupid. So all of these ladies of the evening, I suspect some of them are connected to this woman who I talk about on my true crime tour named Philomene Lemoyne, who was the premier madam in the city of Burlington for nearly 4 decades. She was notorious with the local constabulary. Police would cite her into court for, girls or booze. And pretty soon she discovered that it really didn't make much sense for her to show up. They were fining her $200, $300, $400, more than people who were breaking the law by assaulting other folks. And pretty soon she just didn't go and paid the fines anyway. I find her fascinating.
Now, did she have a house?
She did. She had a house in what they used to call the French neighborhood on Intervale Avenue in Burlington, in the Old North End back in the day. And on one of my true crime tours, that was a bus tour before we started doing them as walking tours, I was getting off the bus to help my folks down off the steps because people wanted to take photos and get a close look at Philomene Lemoyne's old place. And I had a retired sheriff who stepped down off the bus, put his hands on his hips, and looked at me and said, oh my gosh, Thea, Philomene must have had a woman in every window of this house. And I have to admit, I felt like a complete rube because it was the first time it occurred to me that in the city of Burlington back in the day, a person would build this fine Victorian house and have women for sale in all the windows.
Those were the days.
Those were the days, my friend.
Do you have any other stories about ladies of the evening?
Well, one of the things that I found absolutely fascinating about the ladies of the evening on the corners of St. Paul and Main were that the fellows who were managers of the hotels were being browbeaten by local folks who just didn't want this kind of action in and out of the hotels. So apparently they put their heads together and came up with what I think is a very elegant solution. They hired some young men with strong backs to create a tunnel from underneath the Hotel Van Ness to underneath the Hotel Vermont. And that way, when these ladies came, looking absolutely delectable, they could be ushered into a little alcove in either hotel and treated nicely, given lemonade or cucumber water or hot tea, depending on the season. And then, if their services were particularly required on either side of the road, a little bell would ring and an angel wouldn't get its wings.
Well, that is just great. Well, thank you so much, Thea. I look forward to going on some more of your tours, and I know many of our viewers will be buying your books. Have a happy Halloween and a great rest of the year.
And a happy Halloween to you, too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Buy her books. All right, I've had one reading tonight from Corbie Mitlied, who talked about my numerology and my tarot cards, and she told me her version of my future. Now, Duane Scott Cerny has a different way of foretelling stories about me. I wonder what they could be. Duane, come on in.
What's in your attic?
There you are.
Happy Halloween, Amber.
Yes, happy holiday, high holy days to us guys. All right, you look great tonight. Tell me about your getup.
Thank you. The jacket is from a band from the 1960s. And there were 6 of them, and this is the only one that I bought. What a fool! For little fortune teller one side here, and a big wedding ring, which is kind of where we're going to go with this. I know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the chapeau is Raymond Hudd, the haberdasher Raymond Hudd. I write about him in my second book, Vintage Confidential.
Did you write a book?
I did. And this is one of his hats. He had sold 50 hats to Phyllis Diller, and then they were sold at her estate auction. So in tribute to you and to Phyllis, and you're absolutely in need of a second reading.
Yes. People always want to read me for some reason.
So we should just jump into this now. As you may remember, last year I read your palm.
Yes.
And that it was very revealing. I actually made notes. You said it was too true. Ooh. Yeah. And then after that, you stopped talking to me. So I knew I nailed it. Now, this year I considered reading some of your various organs, but I ended up at your feet, like so many others. Now, foot reading is also known as soleistry and is a form of fortune telling that can tell a great deal about an individual's personality. Foot reading and reflexology have been practiced in India and China for more than 5,000 years and were once regarded very, very highly as much as palmistry. It's the same level. So it's only Western ideas that have diminished the interest in soleistry as if it's a joke, and it's not. But it's absolutely a thing, and not just within fetish communities. It is believed that your outer foot is what you show the world. And your exterior, your underfoot, represents your true self, what you share with the world, but what is the base and basis of really who you are.
Ooh.
Yeah, something to think about. So there is science behind this, and and there's a few basic types of feet. So there's an Egyptian foot, a Roman foot, a square or peasant foot, a Greek or flame foot.
I've known a few men who had Roman feet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, which one do you think you are?
I don't know.
Well, it turns out that you're Greek. And Greek feet are often seen as being very enthusiastic and creative and innovative people, and especially when they're properly lubricated.
So what designates a Greek foot?
It's actually how the toes line up.
Okay.
How the toes line up, and you have this really nice, you have beautiful feet. You really do. I was kind of annoyed looking at them for 24 hours, but they're very nicely formed, nicely shaped feet, and so that a Greek foot is just a classic foot. Think of those, Greek statues, and woof. So good stock there. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this the last 24 hours. Hazard pay as expected, and I found a couple interesting features about your feet, and I mean both of them. So we're not going to show photos of Amber's feet tonight because, well, we don't want her to become famous for the wrong reasons.
Well, those are available on my OnlyFans page.
It's your only foot page? Only foot fan page.
Yes.
Good to know. Okay, so for starters, your feet are wide, which indicates that you are a doer. Conversely, though, you have a rather dainty heel for such a large foot. So I love this. When you sit down for the day, you are done. I actually found this quote. It said, "Go get your own drink." It's what it said. I went, oh my God, it's prophetic. And we're going to be seeing a reoccurring theme of this here. I'm not just winging it. This is, yeah. You know, if I was winging it, I'd be dressed as a bat. So the big toe, see, we're going to descend, go across your foot here, is directly connected to your brain and brain health and memory. And you are very healthy brain-wise. The size and scale of your big toe indicates, again, that you're energetic and creative. The second toe is a bit longer than the big toe, which indicates leadership qualities. And hello, here we are, you know, kissing your witch's hat.
It's not that much more. You know, there's some people who that second toe, it's.
Oh yeah. But you have a little bit. You know, there's some people and it's like a sixth toe. I mean,
I know. I go, woo.
There's people making money in the sideshow taking off their shoes, but yeah. So it's not a lot, but just a little. I looked. Again, this is a pattern I see in your feet over and over. These leadership qualities. So you're resourceful and dynamic, and you have a desire to get things done. It's your way or the highway. Yeah. You know, and again, not making this up. You know, it's just. I'm just reading feet here. Okay. So your third toe is a Chinese associate with energy, drive, and willpower. So the toe is a little shorter, and you enjoy the pleasures of life. You love relaxing, and don't get worked up about things. You believe life is short, so enjoy it.
That's right.
Right? That's touching. And I never touched your feet, honestly. So you're the fourth toe. Working our way westward or eastward, and which foot we're on, indicates that you're a gentle soul, but you're easily wounded. Your health might be affected by any disturbances in the home. Now, if your toes are clawed, which is a little Rosemary's Baby, there's you need to try to let it go. You need to relax and don't take on all the burdens of others. Doesn't that make sense? That just makes that's wonderful that your toe would tell you that. Now your little toe, and seriously, this is where it got exciting for me, and you know, for me to get excited about your feet took quite a bit, because from the left foot to the right foot, your little toe appears different. They're not identical. So you have kind of like a childlike impishness in a characteristic with such a small toe. You're great fun to be with. You're sociable and witty, but you have Peter Pan tendencies, which sometimes lend you in trouble. So watch your Peter and the Peters of others.
Yes, and I've been panned before.
We'll see how today goes. So if you can wiggle your toe separately from your fourth toe, you're just going to have to work on that yourself. You would be impulsive and adventurous and a charming flirt. If you can't do that,
I can do it right. I'm doing it right now. Can't you tell? Can't you tell?
In your shoe. We got kids watching. If you can't do this, and we're going to have to be in both feet. I know which foot I'm talking about. Can you do that in both feet?
Yeah.
Oh, you can? Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I can. I'm doing it.
You're doing it. So we're going to see the next part. Was this interesting? But here's where I get to it. If you're looking for fun, and Amber, come on, you're looking for fun. You want to find a man who can wiggle his toe, but for marriage, find a guy who can't wiggle his toes, that is. Or he might wiggle away. So that's what you should be looking for.
How about you, Duane? Can you wiggle your toes?
I have those toes that have just been basically wrapped in Egyptian linen, and so they're yeah.
Now, reading the. Now, did you just read one foot, or are they? Do they coincide?
What am I, the Meineke of foot reading? No, it was $69 both feet.
Okay, right.
There's no half price in this. What kind of gig is this?
So in a nutshell.
Okay, I'll get to the nutshell, but go ahead.
Okay. What would you the overall reading say? Being concise.
Oh, stop rambling, Duane. Okay. These things come out. There's repetition here, which is that you're unconventional, you're rebellious, you're a leader. People want to follow you. You don't take a lot of shit, and you move on, and you don't take things overly serious. And life's too short. So the trend I'm seeing is, and I'll get to the last line, which is another way to say it. That with Amber, it's her way or the highway.
And don't you forget it, Duane Scott Cerny. Thank you so much for kissing my feet tonight. I really appreciate it. Happy Halloween, Duane.
Thank you. You too.
What's in your attic?
All right, now I want you to send me pictures of your feet, and we'll read them. And let me know if you can wiggle your little toes, all right? Thank you, Duane Scott. What are you going to read next year? Ooh. Hey, Russell, come on in.
Hey, oh my goodness, such a spooky show.
Yes, it scares me. All right, what do we have coming up?
Oh, we have so much more coming up. We've got Big J, we've got Rocco, we've got Lucy Belle LeMay, and of course, Boog and Shug. So it's a packed show tonight, and we're like halfway through. There's so much fun to come. So I do want to say, though, what keeps all that fun going, I want to remind everybody, is the Boostiers. So please use that Venmo at RJD Pro. Help us out and send us a donation, and we highly appreciate it. Thank you all to all our Boostiers.
I wonder who that secret admirer is. I'd like to know.
I bet you would.
I really would. All right. Here she is, Lucy Belle and Bitchin' in the Kitchen.
Bitchin' in the Kitchen with Lucy Belle.
Ooh, hey, everybody. It's Lucy Belle here with another episode of Bitchin' in the Kitchen. Yes, happy Halloween. Oh, it is the beginning of the holiday season. Yes, this is one of my favorite holidays. Oh, I just love Halloween. So, but, as usual, before we start, we got to have a cocktail. And tonight's cocktail will be the Witch's Brew. Ooh, it is so easy to make, too. Okay, so we're going to start with a little vodka. Club soda. Or Soda Stream soda. It looks pretty bland, just clear. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it turn black. Yes, all you need is a little food coloring, which is a few drops of green, then a few drops of blue. Food coloring. Woo! And then we're going to put us a few drops of blood in there. Of course, you got to have blood. It's Halloween. Ta-da! Perfect. Okay, so that's our cocktail. Now we're going to really get into something good. And we're going to do, this treat here is for adults only. We're going to do dirt in a cup. Look at that. Yes, you see, it is mud, dirt, couple of snakes, and a pumpkin. Instant pudding. Dump that right in there. Chocolate. You're going to put a cup of milk, a quarter cup of Kahlua, and a 1/4 cup of Irish cream. Is that not going to be some of the best mud you ever tasted? Oh, mix this. Oops, quite messy. Mix this for 2 minutes. Just whisk, 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 whisk. Well, I hope all of you are planning on having fun out there this Halloween, going to haunted houses, haunted forests. I know I'm going to see Nightmare Vermont. I can't wait. Me and Amber have been a part of that for quite a few years. But it's been quite a long time since we've done that. We've got some friends that are parts of the Nightmare Vermont. Hi, Josh. Almost there. Just another few seconds, I'm sure. It's getting thick. So what we will do is just pour this right into the cups. Very good. And we're going to put these in the refrigerator so they can chill for 30 minutes. But no problem. I have some ready already. And I'll show you how to do the cookies. Because while those are in the fridge chilling, we will take our cookies. I used Oreo chocolate-filled cream cookies. And then you just crunch them up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've got the gummies. These gummies, they don't look like it, but they're two-headed snakes is what they are. Who doesn't like a two-headed snake? Woo. Then just let it come out a little bit. And then put you a little pumpkin in there, too. Make a little pumpkin patch. There. So simple. Nothing to it. And trust me, it's going to be good. How can you go wrong with all this chocolate? Now, have a wonderful and scary Halloween. See you next time. Take care and be kind to everybody. Please get your vaccine. Mwah.
One of the great things about doing this show over the last almost 3 years now is meeting people and having them become not only fans, but friends. And one of our biggest fans and favorite friends is Big J. And he sent us this Halloween greeting.
Come in, come in. Don't be afraid. Our seance is just about to begin. Spirits, we summon you to join us this night. What's that? I thought I found something. Someone. Spirits, if you wish to join us, give us a sign. Knock 3 times if you are there. Skulltronics. Come close and join us. Knock 3 times if you dare. Skulltronics.com. Oh dear, the spirits trapped in this house know you're here now. They won't rest until they've succeeded in making you one of them. Flee quickly or remain here forevermore.
Hello everybody, it's me, Big J. I just want to wish everybody a special happy Halloween. And now, here is your host, Amber LeMay.
Thank you, Big J. We love your creativity. And who else is creative on this show? Rocco Zamboni. Come on, Rocco.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Rocco. Anyway, I'm here laying on this bed, nursing what's known as, in technical terms, as a hangover. Where did I get a hangover, you say? Well, I went to a Halloween party last night, and it was crazy. And by the way, see if you can point out or figure out what I'm dressed as. Let me give you a hint. I'm a horny devil. Hey, that's more than a hint. Anyway, check out this crap. Hey, it's Rocco Zamboni. How you doing? I'm here dressed as, Rocco Zamboni, horny devil. I'm here with a good friend of mine.
Hey, I'm Phil.
All right, here I am with some guy who doesn't seem to be talking a lot, but I think he said his name is David or something. I don't know. What do you got to say? He ain't saying much. I'm telling you. I'm not doing very well at conversing at this Halloween party. I don't know what's going on. This guy needs a toothbrush or something. And guess who I ran into? This is the mayor of Amity.
Mayor Boy, nice to meet you.
And look, there's his running mate.
He's trying to kill me. For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July.
Close the beaches, right?
Only for 24 hours.
All right, only for 24 hours. Hey, look who else I ran into. It's Elton John. Coco, that's the thing.
Okay, yeah, that's like all part of the Day of the Dead thing.
Right? They did that. I'm gonna keep drinking. Shut up, Amber. I'm gonna try and coax these ladies into fighting because they said they would do it. You see me? They said they would do it.
No, that's my itch.
Can you stick this somewhere back?
The Karate Kid, Daniel LaRusso, and Snake Plissken. If you don't know who that is, you're crazy. Mr. Miyagi. Hey, what do you got? What wise words do you have for everybody out there?
Well, obviously, wax on, wax off.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we're blurry. Yeah. So that was just a brief thing of what I did last night. There would have been more, but my hands were full of food and drink. And, sometimes you got to put the camera down and enjoy life. Sometimes. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. And happy Halloween and stuff. Boo.
Rocco, you almost never disappoint. Okay, Russell, come on in.
Hey, we made it almost to the end, Amber.
Yes, we did. Oh, my goodness. Well, how much fun. And it is all those different personalities that came together tonight to make our 3rd annual Spooktacular so cool. So thank you to all of our guests for contributing. We really appreciate that. But we've got other guests coming up in the future, don't we, Russell?
Oh, my God. We have so many. We just recorded a great interview with a author of children's books for adults, Brad Goss, which he's actually was an incredible interview. She did a great job. His books are hysterical. He's a stand-up comedian. So that one's coming up. We have a woman named Laura Cayuette who we're going to be doing an interview with. And she was in Kill Bill. She was in Django Unchained as the wife of Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and I believe she's also produced a movie with Quentin Tarantino, so she's done quite a bit, and she's in New Orleans, which is one of our favorite places, so I know Amber's going to have lots to talk with her about. And then, of course, at the end of the month, we are recording an interview with Jay Rodriguez from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy and the new movie Bros.
And Uncoupled. He's in the TV show Uncoupled. He's done a lot of Broadway. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yes, and off Broadway. Which you'll get to talk to him about. So there's a lot coming up. So stick with us, and we got some great shows coming up. And now we're wrapping up our Halloween show, 3rd annual Spooktacular. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you. All right, everyone, be safe out there. Be nice to everyone. And a week from Tuesday, make sure you get out there and vote. All right, don't blow it. Vote. All right, I wonder what tricks or treats Book and Shug have in store for me. Let's find out.
What are you going to be for Halloween this year, Shug? I think I'm going to be an influencer. How is that scary? Have you seen what they've done to social media? That's scary.